What is up, tech fans? This is Brian from Tech Yes City, and this is Kev from Tech Showdown, joining you guys for episode 11 of the Tech Lounge. How you doing, Kev?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. Man, it's been a hectic week last week, but it's all over now, so I'll be able to focus on doing lots of tech videos this week. How about yourself?
Yeah, same here, man. Last week was just off the chain. I was busy. I actually did another build as well, so you've got the build in the background somewhere. So there's a Thermal Take View 27. I did a build with that, and it's sort of, I decided to change things up a little bit, do a high FPS gamer kind of thing, because a lot of the times, like, it's legit though, a lot of the times, a lot of people tell me they like to game on low or even medium settings and get really high FPS in certain games like CSGO or Dota 2 or whatever the game is. So they're not too focused on the graphical settings as opposed to getting those high FPSs for the frames. And even then, they make a good point, is that when you drop the graphic settings, you don't get the distractions like all the fancy, things flying around and whatnot. So it helps them focus on, fragging better or whatnot. So I was really impressed with that. Like, that was actually a good build to do because it was legit. Like, I started playing CSGO and I started getting like better frags. Like, I got some footage of me killing 4 dudes in one round.
Oh, nice.
Like, come on. Like, so I actually showed that. I was just like patting myself on the back. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. So I got that done. Yeah, and just other than that, just a lot of hardware's coming through because, like, I want to get started on the juicy stuff, like, these engineering samples and stuff like that. But I've got a heap of backlog because went on holidays and then I was sick, and that sickness took me out for ages. So there was a huge backlog of parts to get through. And so hopefully this week, by the end of this week, I should be on to all that juicy stuff that people really want to see as well. So, like, can you overclock the Kaby-lake and stuff like that? I'll do my best to see if we can. So did that in the engineering sample and stuff like that. And there's some other cool stuff coming. But yeah, I want to keep it a little bit of a secret, some of it. So how about yourself though, man? I'm done talking.
So good. Yeah, I mean, I started on the Kaby-lake stuff last week, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Got the 7700K. It could do 4.9, but it didn't seem entirely happy. But it was very happy at 4.8. The 76. This is a retail one, by the way. The 7600K, however, that went to 5 gigahertz, and it was pretty stable. Not 100%, but about 80% stable. But if I brought it back a little bit, it was fine.
What speeds though? Doe. I meant to say doe. What speeds doe?
What do you mean?
What speeds did you have this at?
Well, they got up to 5 gigahertz.
Ah, yeah, nice.
But at the voltage-wise, it was 1.43, I think it was.
Wow.
1.44, I think. I can't. What were you getting out of them at 5 gigahertz?
Well, it was ridiculous. It still is ridiculously hot. I mean, I'm getting I was getting 5 gigahertz at 1.395 or something, and then the 7700K, it just wouldn't go to 5 gigahertz even if I gave it 1.45. And at that stage, I was like, nah, I'm not going to take it too much higher than that. But that got, interestingly enough, it got 4.9 at 1.32. So it was really good. Like, it was actually a really good chip. It's just, obviously, it just capped out at 4.9. So I couldn't, get any higher.
Yeah.
So, interestingly enough, I just thought, well, here it is. That's all it can do. So I wonder how many other people out there are getting 5 gigahertz 5.1. I've heard of people getting even 5.2. So
yeah, I don't think it's as many as a lot of people initially thought.
Yeah.
After asking around, you're definitely going to get 4.8, 4.9. Well, definitely is a bit strong, but you should be getting at least 4.8.
Yeah.
Which is good because a lot of the Skylake CPUs, quite a few of them could get up that high, but many of them seem to like to sit at about 4.6. Seem to be sort of the minimum.
Oh, the Skylakes. The Skylakes were like 4.5 even sometimes.
4.5, 4.6. So it's still a bit of a jump up there. But I think a lot of people buying, going into a thing like, oh, I'll get 5 gigahertz guaranteed. It's like, not exactly.
No, it depends. I think I think you have to delid if you want to get 5 gigahertz
Definitely,
all day, every day.
yeah.
Like, because I was getting 90 something degrees. Like, I tell you, that's okay for a Cinebench run, but if you're loading up a game for half an hour, that is not going to hold. Not at 90. You have to delid that thing. You have to get those temps down if you want to run it at. So I actually did the 144 hertz PC, and I clocked the 7600K to 4.8 gigahertz. Now this was in like 30 something degree temperatures, but it was running the games fine. I mean, the temperatures were going up to whatever 80 degrees or something in games, which is okay. But you have to delid to get those temps down. Definitely, like, if you want to get those high overclocks, like 5, even 5.1, 24/7, you're going to have to delid, or at least live in Antarctica. So it's your choice. But this is interesting too as well. Look at that. We got there. That's the Skylake. I don't know if you can see it on the webcam, but we got the Skylake engineering sample, and then we got the Kaby-lake CPU. You can probably see that the PCB is a 3-layer, I believe, versus a 2-layer. So that was interesting to find that out. I was like, wow, okay, so they send the engineering samples out with thicker PCB, or at least stronger PCB than the retail samples. So I don't know what's going on, but I'd like to see a thicker PCB, because I actually want to delid one of these chips. I really do. And I want to see the temperature difference, and I want to see if in gaming, if you leave a game on for 2 hours, is one overclock going to be better than the other? And I think, of course, it will be, because, temperatures do affect overclocks. So deliding is one of those things you'd want to do to get those extra couple of 100 megahertz stable out of your CPU. So, yeah, that's that.
No, it was interesting to me anyways that the motherboard that I was testing Kaby-lake on was the Aorus, which is a gigabyte, gaming X5, I believe. And when I was reading their guide, because I just wanted to see what they reckon, they had in part of the guide about deliding, which I thought was pretty crazy from a actual company. I always thought it was sort of this more shadowy thing. Not shadowy, but like an actual big company wouldn't talk about it type thing.
Yeah.
But no, they had it right in the guide. It was like, oh, if you experiencing bad temperatures, you can always pretty much delid it. And this was like posting their results, which were pretty good. From what I remember, it was about a 10-degree difference.
Yeah.
So you drop about 10 degrees, which was pretty impressive. So yeah, it's interesting to see now. But I mean, it shouldn't need to come to this. I thought we got over this with Devil's Canyon, but oh no, Intel, we got to go back here again.
Well, that's another factor that might propel Zen, right? I mean, if Zen's not cutting any corners like this, I think a lot of people will rally behind it. So all it's got to do is have good performance. That's all. So and of course bring that value to money to the table. But I think a lot of people are going to rally behind that. Another thing too is in some of my videos, especially the one upcoming as well, some of the footage, I did figure out the problem. People are like, oh, your Kaby-lake video, there was a bit of stuttering. That was actually the capture card on the storage. It was going over USB 3 and the storage. I fixed it up anyway. So, some of the footage had a bit of stuttering. It wasn't the CPU. I will say that. It wasn't the CPU. Except, and I will talk about this, though. And I have to... Maybe if you guys in the audience want me to go on a witch hunt, I might. But... those minimums in Crysis 3 were legit. Like, they were legit. That difference, because Steve from Hardware and Box, he pulled me over on the D-Lo. He's like, dude, like, your results, man, like, that looks a bit weird, man. I'm like, what? Which one? And he's like, oh, your Crysis 3 benchmark, 20% lower minimums on the Kaby-lake G4560, the Pentium, versus the i3-6100. And I just said to him, dude, that's legit. Like, I tested apples to apples, exact same patch of turf there, you know what I mean? And that's what the results were. And so now Crysis 3 is a game that's really cool. I loved Crysis 3, especially even for benchmarking till this day. Why? Because even as much as it stresses the GPU, like, to the max, it stresses your CPU to the max, given the right settings. And it juices it more than some pre-made benchmarks. And now what this means is if you have a program that's it's juicing a lot of CPU power. What that means is it's utilizing the cache more than other benchmarks, more than other games. Because we all know that, cache on a CPU, if it's being used, it's burning up a lot of power. Hence why the X99 CPUs burn up a lot more power than their 4-core variants. Or their little brothers, the 4-cores, because they have way more level 3 cache. Now that cache uses up a lot of power. And so the difference between the 4560 and the i3-6100 is that one's got smart cache. Now, I don't know if that will contribute towards the differences in minimums, but I would guess that's the biggest factor, because the 200 megahertz difference is not going to make up for a 20% difference in lower minimums. Yeah. So, pretty interesting. What are they doing with that smart cache? It might be legit.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point you've raised. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, so I found that out. I was like, well, I could go and test it and go on a witch hunt, but at the end of the day, I guess a lot of gamers already know the more you have, the more horsepower you have, the better it's going to be. I guess that if you were to put it apples to apples, smart cache would be better than non-smart cache on the Intel side of things. And what exactly is smart cache? I don't really know. I guess it's just the way it's been programmed, the way that whatever.
Yeah, so, this is I read about it a while ago, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember reading because I wanted to know, but I've forgotten now. But yeah, it is better. Well, it should be anyways.
it's better, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
It's better. For the people in the States, it's pronounced cache. I know. Don't have to hit me in the comments. I already know, guys. I already know.
Yeah, it's so bizarre in New Zealand. In New Zealand, it's like everyone in the industry says it both ways. You'd be like, oh, we're talking about the cache, and then someone will say cache, and then they say cache. It's like people just use both all the time. Like half the people use one way, half the people use the other. They don't just say one.
Who cares?
Most of them say cache. I remember asking one guy, I was like, why do you say cache? And he's like, because when I say cache, all the customers get confused. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, so we say cache instead.
It's exactly how you pronounce in your country. It's how you pronounce a cache of weapons or whatever. You know what I mean? How the military will drop it. In America, they pronounce it cache. So that's fair enough. That's how they pronounce things. Yeah. So however you pronounce that word, because that's what it is. It's a storage close to the CPU. It's a cache or a cache. That's what it is. So however your country pronounces that said word, that's how it's going to be pronounced for the CPU side of things too. So anyway, English 101 on a tech show. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on to the first topic here. People are like, actually it's funny because no one's actually told us to move on to topics yet. That's how cool's that? It's been like first, right? maybe the personal chat is pretty interesting this week. Cool story. So first topic here, we got Microsoft acquires Simplygon. So it plans to accelerate 3D for everyone.
Yeah.
So apparently they've taken over this company. Microsoft's just got all that money in the bank, and it's got here the Microsoft symbol plus the Simplygon symbol equals love. Now, what exactly is this love going to entail? I'm pretty confused because in the past we've known that Microsoft can get things like DX12 and I'd say in a way, make a mess of them.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. So they said it was used by car manufacturers to visualize products in VR at full scale. So they made themselves, they said they made a name within the CAD-based, what CAD means computer-aided design, visualization platform. So that's quite cool. This will be, they said they also integrated it into applications such as Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is an interesting move by Microsoft. But yeah, I think you'd hope only good things come from it. But yeah, it's quite an interesting thing for them to do.
You better hope, guys. You better hope. Put your hands together and pray.
Yeah, it'll tie in with the creators update as well.
Yeah.
So.
But that's what I mean. Get on your knees and pray that they don't sort of monopolize this in any sort of way, shape, or form. But knowing that, I'd say what's the real... okay, there's my phone. And what we got here. So essentially... that just threw me off, like I was focused. I forgot what I was going to say now. The phone.
It's just the Windows 10 creators update. This should be available for everybody on it. Hopefully, something like this, some sort of 3D design thing for people to use, which will be quite cool. But we'll have to see closer to the time if that's going to be the case or not.
Just wait, I'm powering this off. There, how you like that? Person interrupt me in the see ya. No more interruptions midstream. Okay, so yeah, they're integrating this into apparently like Unreal Engine 4, and so they want to integrate it into their newest reiteration of Windows, and they've got to focus on 3D as well. I mean, VR's, I'd say arguably it's going to be the future. I mean, I'd say it's going to take a lot longer to adopt than people think. Due to the issues surrounding it. But I think that's where they envision this acquisition going, is with Simplygon. Okay, Microsoft, we can integrate it into Windows Store, VR experience. I think that's where they envision this going. So,
I think you're exactly. I think what will happen in the future, from my point of view, once the VR technology and the headsets themselves are sophisticated enough, is people will not run a monitor anymore. Their desk will be, they'll sit down. They already run this. There's a lot of VR applications you can get for this, and you put on your VR headset and then you go into what's called the virtual desktop. And people can do that because you'll think, well, what if all this stuff right in my face? No, what it is you're in the VR, you're sitting at a desk with whatever monitor you want and the application and all of that stuff. So that will be, maybe it sounds kind of bizarre to wear a headset just to look at a screen in the VR. But I can see that starting to take off. Right now it seems a bit crazy, but in the future that may be the case. I may be completely off, but I think something like that might start getting more people's attention.
Well, I think, see, they're going to have a hard time contending with people with dual 27-inch monitors like myself, or people with the wide 34-inch monitors. I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't get much better than this, guys. Come on. You got your mouse, your keyboard, mechanical switches, awesome mouse. Then you've got your amazing monitors and your amazing hardware. It's like, it doesn't get much better than this. Except one person did make a good point, VR porn. I mean, that could be a huge industry. So, yeah. So I can see that as being a reason. I legitimately think that could be a real thing. So, oh wow.
Well, it already is a real thing.
Sorry, Kev. I got to put myself on D&D. Like, so I guess someone's on the stream. They're like, okay. Like, I don't know why people have the need to be smartasses midstream. Okay. Anyway, back to the articles. Okay, I put myself on D&D now, so maybe people can perhaps stop trying to interrupt the stream now. Okay, next article. So we're done with that one. Microsoft acquired Simplygon. Now we're moving over to i7 7000 Skylake-X and Kaby-lake-X. So we talked about this a couple of months ago, and the bottom line was Kaby-lake-X was being launched besides Skylake-X, and they had a 4-core 8-thread variant. Now the problem with this is that Kaby-lake's been released, and it's virtually the same thing as Skylake. So I would argue that they're not even going to release Skylake-X. They're just going to call the whole thing Kaby-lake-X, because that's an easy way for them to catch up on X99. They've got their new generation of 4 cores. It makes perfect sense for Intel from a business standpoint. Finally, Kaby-lake-X can catch up to Kaby-lake.
It might do. What they're saying right now is it's going to be a combination of both. They're both going to be coming out at similar times, but you'll have 3 SKUs, which will be the Skylake-X. You'll get the usual 10-core, 8-core, and 6-core, and then Kaby-lake will be coming out with a 4-core 8-thread, which I'll be interested to see what they do with that. Now, I don't think many people are going to be that hyped for these new CPUs, considering that when we went from Haswell to Broadwell, that was a bit more exciting, because we went from the 5960X being the top dog, which was 8-core 16-thread, to a 6950X, which is 10-core 20-thread. We're not seeing that same sort of difference this time. I would imagine it's going to be the 7950X will probably be very similar, except with higher clock speeds, and they've maybe changed around with the cache and a few other things. Well, PCI lanes and that will be yes, more in that. So
looks like you get 4 more PCIe lanes. Kaby-lake-X, apparently you get 6 more, but it's got a new socket. So you're moving from LGA 2011.3 or version 3 to LGA 2066. Now, the biggest problem I have here is that, I don't think they're going to sell that well on this time around, because people already have 5820Ks. Some people went out and bought the 6800K, knowing, like myself, knowing that it's pretty much inferior in that it doesn't clock as high as the 5820K. So it's virtually the same thing. And then people want to get numbers on Kaby-lake-X. Is that going to clock higher? I think that's the only way they're going to sell LGA 2066, is if those 6-core variants, because I'd say that's arguably the most popular CPU on the X99 platform, is the 5820K and the 6800K. But if they can't get the clock speeds right, I just see a lot of people forgetting about it, because you've got to go out and buy a whole new motherboard this time around as well. So who wants to go do that? Me in particular, in hindsight, I regret upgrading to the 6800K. It was a waste of time and effort. The 5820K was perfectly fine. So, a lot of people out there are on the 5820K. It's actually a really damn good CPU, especially when the X99 platform was first released. It had everything. It could clock pretty high for a 6-core. It had the price tag associated with it, and the X99 wasn't too expensive if you got those cookie cutter motherboards. So
exactly, yeah, I don't see this selling particularly well. There'll be certain people out there that I don't think it'll sell well from the perspective of people like us going from Broadwell E to say Skylake-X or a Kaby-lake-X. However things end up, I think it'll just be the usual people, which are those who are going from, say, the core series and then jumping up like I did before when I went from my 4770K, and then now I run the 6900K, which is very similar to the 5960X. So that would be what I think some of the sales will be coming from. But all of this just bodes even better for Ryzen, because it just so many people, even people I know that are big fans of Intel, do feel let down this time around.
Jar Jar will test to that. He's let down. He's been let down as well. He knows how it feels, man. He's back in Team AMD, guys. Don't worry.
And this right now just adds to it, because nothing I've seen from this. I mean, there's some little cool things with X299. They're saying DDR4 2067 native support, which okay. A few other things, as you said, with the PCI lanes, but really there's nothing that jumps out to me as really that big. I mean, it's like all the people going on about the native support of USB 3.1 with Kaby-lake. How many people actually cared going from Skylake?
That's true. Yep.
It's not. So this is going to bode really well. But again, we'll just have to see if it's true that the IPC of Ryzen is similar to Broadwell, then and the pricing is as aggressive as we're hoping it's going to be from AMD, then I think Intel is going to need to change their pricing around a lot, and it'll be going after these top ones as well, that 8-core 16-thread Ryzen CPU. That's going to start to cause trouble, I think, in this high-end, the gaming productivity end of the market
I was looking through the so-called layout for Zen, and the one that interests me the most, surprisingly, is the 6-core 6-thread. That really interests me.
Yeah.
That's
me
the
too.
one that I've got my eyes on. Like, okay, coming in around $220 or something like that. That looks like the CPU to get. Because, the 8-core 16 thread's going to be apparently $600 or whatnot. So for gamers, I mean, damn, 6-core 6 threads is where it's at. That's a tough CPU. That is like going to the gym every day and working out, but not having to go to the gym and spend the time.
It will, I think it's going to kill the i5 if it lives up to the. Well, they're going to have to change the pricing around massively, because. But I think it'll be very interesting when we both get them and start testing Ryzen. In the future, is they'll have the 4-core 8-thread Ryzen, and they'll also have the 6-core 6-thread.
And that's
I
what I
think
mean. Like, well, that's
that
what
will be quite interesting too.
Well,
Will the 6 physical cores be good, or will people, having 6 threads, or will there be a
4 or 8 thread? Yeah. Well, that'll be a good showdown. Yeah. That'll be a good showdown for a particular channel called Tech Showdown. So.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely do that stuff. But yeah, I think what you're saying with the 8-core 16 thread, that high price tag, obviously that isn't so much aimed at the gaming market. That thing is going to be aimed at the productivity market, going straight after these enthusiast series.
But I still see a lot of people just buying it anyway because they want the best that AMD has to offer. So, and as well, that 6-core 6 thread, it's going to empower keyboard warriors all across the internet. You're going to see some flame wars going on. I can't wait. I'm going to get my popcorn ready. It's going to be pretty awesome. So,
yeah, have you heard? By the way, have you heard anything that you can make public about Ryzen in terms of release dates? Anything you've heard around the industry?
No. I'm not even under NDA, so I can't even.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't heard anything. I asked around it. It's AMD's keeping this really tight.
Yeah, it is.
I'm pretty sure it'll be before March, though. That's all I've sort of. The only leeway I've sort of had is.
I'm pretty sure it'll be just after March, from what I hear. So.
Depends. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it depends this time around. Is like Australia got the G4560 before the States. That was really weird. Is there going to be sort of like a different countries it gets rolled out at different times? That's something that, that's something that I'm waiting for. I mean, New Zealand looks like you guys get it a month later anyway by default. So
we get about 2 weeks after you get them in Aussie, or a week and a half after you guys get them, because all the Aussie distributors keep everything for themselves. So.
Yeah. So, well, we'll move on to the next topic anyway. So, some gaming news here. Gabe Newell, he got an AMA and on Reddit, I think it was, and he said the number 3 must not be set. Because people are asking, people want to know about Half-Life 3. When's it coming out? Now, he did admit that the customer support needs a bit of work on Steam and whatnot, but hey, I think any company's customer support could always use some work. But considering how many customers Steam actually has, that's pretty generic thing to say. But Half-Life 3, I was kind of disappointed with the response. It's just like a joke. It's like, haha, shits and giggles again, shits and giggles. And it's like, okay, it's 2017, buddy. Like, is it coming out or not? Just lay it to rest. Don't do a Prometheus on us and leave us like asking so many questions at the end of this thing that it does our head in. Are we getting a Half-Life 3 or not? Are we getting a sort of different run-of-the-mill game that's going to be related to Half-Life 3 that'll possibly tie into the story, like Prometheus? Or, so yeah, he's done a whole Prometheus on us, so that's why I was a bit, I did like Prometheus, the movie, though, I got to admit, I thought it was pretty awesome, but I can't wait for the next installment, but it's kind of like, it's 2017, so what's going on with Half-Life 3? That's the thing that I want to know. What is going on with this game? Is it coming out? Is it not coming out? Just a simple yes or no.
There's too much hype now.
Yeah.
There's it's just so much hype that it could never live up to it now. So I guess maybe they're just not going to do it. But the fact that he also said that that Valve is working on a single player game right now. That's quite cool. And the fact that hopefully there'll be a Left 4 Dead 3 sometime in the future.
So
that would be cool as well. So and the Half-Life and Portal movie collaborations. That'll be interesting to see.
With a whole new Half-Life 3, you get a whole new Counter-Strike as well, which would be so awesome. So that'd be really cool. But I mean, CS:GO, I don't see that going anywhere. It'd be subtle upgrades. You'd have an updated engine maybe in a few years' time once everyone's hardware's upgraded. Because I think the whole appeal of CS:GO, especially, is that it runs on potatoes. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I was hoping Gabe would have delivered a yes or no. Half-Life 3 is not coming.
Nah, he's never going to do that. He'll keep it going forever.
Teasing it. So we got here. You want to talk about this actually. The Asus debuts the Zenbook UX430 and UX530 slimline laptops. Now you actually own an Asus Zenbook, don't you?
Yeah, it's the old one. It's back there somewhere. But I've tested these a lot, and all the videos I did on them got quite good views. But I do like the Zenbooks quite a bit. They have had their fair share of problems with the hinges I've heard over the years, although the one I have it's still fine, although it is being a little bit funny. But yeah, these ones are just new ones, look slimmer. They've been quite good with keeping a lot of the ports in. But the graphics cards in these look pretty ancient, although they're coming with Kaby-lake CPU, so that's good.
Man, yeah,
but
what is it with
GTX
the advertising?
940.
Just the advertising on this website's insane. It's like a Christmas tree popping off. Like, I'm just looking at it like I'm not even reading the article. I'm just watching MSI Zeus flashing all on my screen. What the hell?
Yeah, maybe that's the point of it.
That's okay. This is advertising taken too far, guys. Where you can't even read the article because it's so distracting. And then there's people who ad block. It's like, no, we got to support each other. Ad block. You can't. If you everyone puts on ad block, we'd be out of business. I wouldn't have a channel. I couldn't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so they're putting the USB Type C port as well, which will be interesting, and also some new colors and stuff. But Asus have been doing this for a while. The Zenbook range has been very reliable for them in terms of sales, and I think they're very scared to do anything too drastic to it. So each time I test a new one, it's just a very incremental upgrade over the previous one. But no, great little laptops in terms of battery life, build quality at least at the start. And
the UX430 does interest me. It looks very thin. It looks like it's got some good specs. I mean, that thing would be great for traveling.
They're not made for gaming per se. You can game on them, but that's not the market they're aimed at. So people that complain about the graphics cards on them, it's not what it's entirely aimed at. But they can do it quite well. But yeah, you'll be playing more basic games like what you were saying before, CSGO, and things that'll run on a potato will run on that. But that's
actually run pretty well on it too, I'd say. So.
Yeah, it does all right. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have to run on the very minimum, but
does a bit of all right,
you're not going to be going too crazy.
Yeah. All right, well, so that's that topic done and dusted. Zenbook, go get yourself one if you want one with the outdated graphics card, but good specs. Kaby-lake CPU in there, pretty good specs regardless. PC gaming. Okay, PC gaming hardware market now worth over $30 billion for the first time. Huge news. Wow.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about earlier, didn't we? A few months ago, the fact that there's been such a big uptake in people just buying PC hardware in general, especially on the GPU front. They were posting very good sales towards the end of 2016. So that's really good. But what's interesting at that graph is the fact that it's looking like it's more dominated by the high end, but I don't so much. I mean, do you agree with this? I mean, this is what they've done from their research, but I would have believed it would have been the mid-range or.
Well, how we're seeing this, right? How they're doing this? Okay, they've got the sales out. I don't know what exactly. Sorry, I don't know what's happened to my English in the last 2 minutes. Anyway, I don't know exactly what factors they're basing off. You know, they're obviously cutting the line somewhere, but what does pertain to mid-range? What sort of factors pertain to entry level and high range? I'd love for them to put those whatever, I'm trying to think of the words, I'm just brain farting live here, but so the mid-range market is the biggest, as well as the low-range market. If we look at the per hardware per person, I would say the mid-range and the low-range would be beating the high-end, right? Because the high-end, you can have someone spending $10,000. Now, for $10,000, we could easily build 20 computers for the low-end, right? So there's 20 people for one person. So the high range is, of course, going to be overinflated per person because it's just high range. It's got no cap, essentially, on it. So it doesn't surprise me that the high range is selling the most in terms of total volume of sales in money, in dollar terms. Yeah. But what factors denote that? I'd love to find out.
It's a funny thing that when you talk to people about this, like, well, I'll ask you the question. This is what I ask a lot of people. So if you were looking at NVIDIA's current lineup of GPUs, so the 1000 series graphics cards, where would you define their entry level? So obviously you would definitely put the 1050 in. 1050, but would the 1050 Ti come in there as well?
That's starting to hit mid-range with the 1060.
Then 1060, the 1060, most people would say, that's mid-range. Yeah. But then where is the 1070 also mid-range, or is that going to the high end?
That would be a new class. Like, it's weird, but it'd be a new class. I'd call it upper mid-range now.
That's what makes it difficult because you could say, well, entry level 1050 Ti, but then that would mean that, and if you classified the 1070 as high end, then the 1060 would be the lone graphics card. In that, granted, there is two different models, the 3 and the 6 gig, but it would be a lone card in the middle, and that's what makes it kind of
I think
funny to me.
See, and this is the problem. Like the 970, when it was first released, in my opinion, was a high-end card. It was so close to the 980, which was the flagship when it was first released. Now the 1070 is arguably it's behind. It's behind the 1080 by quite a bit. Even if you overclock them, you can't get them to 1080 speeds. And so that's why that new class is sort of bred now with the 1070, the upper mid class. I think that's,
it's a lot harder to define. I think
sort
actually
of like your Porsche.
lineup
It's kind of like your Porsche Boxster, right? Not exactly a high-end car, but it's got the Porsche name on it. And, you get all the pretenders who will go out and buy a Porsche Boxster, so...
I think AMD's lineup is actually easier to define from it. I mean, most people, you'd say 470, 480 are definitely in the mid-range, and then when Vega comes out, I mean, we definitely know those are going to be high-end. Since AMD have already got the mid-tier, mid-range, and entry-level covered, we know that the two new Vega GPUs, which will be coming out, will be squarely in the high-end mark.
Yeah, but I think the people in the comments nail. I think the people in the comments nail. It's kind of like RX 470 and 1070 are the cards to get at the moment. I think they're the two hottest cards, right? 470 is your entry level, sort of real good price performance, mid range, and then you've got your GTX 1070, which is for those people who want that value oriented higher end card. So I think those are the two hottest cards at the moment. They're the two cards I'd pick, even though the GTX 1063 gigabyte at the right price is still a good, really good card.
That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a deal when you get them on special and stuff. So I would agree with that. 470, I would say if you're someone looking in the market for the best value for money graphics card, then you have to go with either 470, 480, depending on what models and deals you can get if anything's on special. Or the 1060, either 3 or 6 gig, again, depending on models and pricing and specials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for the value, if you're looking in that area, you'll find yourself a hell of a deal, and that'll be a lot of graphics card for your money.
Or the 1050 too. The 1050 is actually coming in at a pretty decent price too, especially if for plugging it into those OEMs. Yeah. I do like where the 1050's at as well. So they're all the
I would agree with that.
I'd say, and honestly, I'd say this generation we haven't had it better. To be honest, it's the price performance.
And the value for money tier. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Because a lot of people like the 1060 and the RX 470 especially has done very well in terms of sales.
But there we go. Like 2016 hit that $30 billion mark, which was expected to hit in 2018. So we're kind of 2 years ahead of where we should be, which is really good for PC gaming. I think a lot of people are starting to see what's going on with consoles. They're starting to see, okay, we can actually use our controllers on PCs. So PCs, they've got so much more to bring to the table. And if you're into the used hardware segment, you can still get a really good price performance rig out of PC gaming. It doesn't cost a whole lot to enter the PC gaming market. I'm going to have some pretty cool videos coming that'll sort of cover a bit of both. How people, because the biggest complaint I get with used hardware is, Brian, I can't get the deals that you get. And a lot of the time they're one-off deals. Actually, like 99% of the time they're one-off deals. You're not going to be able to replicate that because it's only one person selling their used stuff. So I'd love to do a few more videos on that. There will be a few more videos, but what we're seeing is PC gaming's taking off. It's coming a lot more popular than we thought. People like you and me, I'm sure we just never even think about jumping on a console. And the sad thing is, my brother forced me to buy a PS4. He actually bought half the console for me. He wanted me to get into the console that bad. I played this thing for I gave it a good go. I tried playing Destiny for an hour, and I was just like, I want my mouse and keyboard. I want, my specs. I want my better frame rates. It's so hard now to go back to console. Unless,
it is.
It's just the gaming experience PC brings now is so much better than consoles. Yeah.
This is what we would expect anyways. I mean, I have a PlayStation 4, and the only reason I have it is to play exclusives. But the this is what happened every time when these consoles are starting to reach the end of their life. I know they've been refreshed, but that's not the same really. And this is what always happens when they start getting quite old, which a lot of them are. Then the PC hardware sales start to tick up and up and
That's
up and
true.
up.
Yeah.
When the new consoles come out, maybe not so much with a Switch, but I mean a new Xbox or PlayStation. Then you see the PC hardware sales slow down a little bit, and then eventually, and then a few years later, it will start to tick back up again. But this is what I've seen before with the PS4 when it first came out, and Xbox One when it came out.
Okay, we'll move on to this topic here. US report suggests Tesla autopilot reduces crashes by 40%. Now, it's an independent study, and apparently someone died in one of these things a few months ago. And there's a lot of apparents here, but you wanted to talk about this one, but I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating that we've got autopilot coming into cars. Me personally, I would never give up control of my vehicle. I think that's why I'm scared of flying. Like every time I jump into an airplane, I'm scared because of the fact that I don't have control. I think that's why.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared of that.
It's just a natural human thing. I think it's just a natural human reaction. When I drive a car, I'm in control of it, or I trust someone in the driver's seat who I know is in control. So there's that factor there, which is why I'd probably never turn to an autopilot unless I got to know my machine. He had like AI, and he became my friend, you know? So
I think it would be something that you would use a bit, and it would make a lot of people nervous. I mean, everybody fears what they don't understand, and when they first use it, they'll probably be quite scared and everything. But the idea that people think, as of right now anyways, that you turn things like autopilot on and then you can just do whatever you want, have a nap, read a book, that's not how it works. You still need to be aware, watching the road and everything. But the autopilot should do a good job. Now, the reason why the crashes are reducing is for quite a few reasons. I have a bachelor's in automotive engineering, so
there we go, guys.
To make it basic, I did a whole assignment on this technology to basically break it down. The reason why it doesn't have emotion, like a lot of people crash because they're raging or they're impatient or they're frustrated or they're in a rush.
True story.
It can also see a lot that you can't see. We rely on our line of sight, whereas a lot of these autopilot technologies, autonomous driving technologies, use what's called LiDAR, so light detecting radar, and so it can see things that you wouldn't be able to see in your line of sight. So say a kid was hiding behind a parked car or something and he ran out on the road to chase something, you wouldn't be able to see him until he came into your line of sight, whereas the autopilot could see him for quite a decent time and be already anticipating that he might do something like that. So there's a lot of things like that which are quite interesting. The main sort of downsides to this right now is that it has a lot of difficulty, I think, with intersections. A lot of time you'll see people who have made reviews and stuff and videos about it. It'll pull in behind parked cars thinking those cars are lined up at an intersection, cars that are parked very close to a intersection and things like that. Also, there's a bit of trouble, well, not trouble, but it's for it to read signs and lights. They usually have to run cameras on the back of the mirror, the central mirror, in order for it to see that, because radar obviously cannot see the traffic lights or the signs and that. It's more a kind of broad thing to pick up objects. So that's another interesting thing. But no, this is good going forward, and there could be a time, definitely there will be a time in our lifetime where everybody is using cars on autopilot, and you'll see the amount of deaths from car crashes reduce dramatically to the point where it would be instead of a common occurrence, it would be actually quite rare, or only an occasional thing that you will ever actually hear about. Probably by the time we're in our 50s or 60s, I would imagine.
So the light detecting stuff, basically you're saying if someone was to invent some Superman glasses, we could get around that. So there's sort of that advantage negated.
Yeah, it's that Yeah, it's kind of it's hard to explain. That's not for all of them as well. Like you cannot talk about this in a very broad sense because lots of different companies are using lots of different technology. But the general idea is where the benefit will come from is that things like some of these different radar systems can see things that we cannot see because our driving is mainly based off line of sight and a bit of hearing as well. If someone honks their horn or something at us or we hear something.
So you're basically saying no more burnouts as well.
I mean, I don't think electric cars will ever replace petrol cars. Like it's like when the car was invented, it didn't replace the horse entirely. Like you still see people go riding horses and stuff like that, but they do it for leisure now. Okay. Not many people actually use horses for work. And I think petrol cars will be the same thing. People will be like, oh, I'll just use my electric car to drive to work in because that's better. But the petrol car will be your fun car still.
No more speed bump jumping. Oh man, come on, man. Like I'm not sold on this autopilot thing. So there's no more burnouts, no more speed bump jumping. Well, what? This is no fun. It's taking the fun out of cars.
Well, I think you'll have two cars.
No more drag racing. Let me know in the comments. Are you guys sold on autopilot? I'm not sold. There's going to be no more drag racing. There's going to be no more burnouts. There's going to be no more speed bump jumping. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm not sold on autopilot. I rage quit. I'm not getting it. Okay. Exiled. This is a new MMO that promises to be sort of like a fast-paced game where you can level up. It's very PvP orientated. It's sort of targeted towards more mature audiences. And the good thing about it is, this is what I like about this game. They're giving everyone a 7-day free trial. I mean, that's what I like about this. They just said, look, you play our product. If you like it, then you can sign up. I mean, that's a really good model. That's what I would want from a lot of different companies. Instead of buying their game, realizing it's trash, and then wanting to return it, which on a lot of places you can't. But I like the 7-day free trial. I really like it. And it's looking pretty cool. I'm definitely going to check this out on February 23rd. Looks like it'll run on a potato too, so they've got that down pat. I think if you want to have a successful game nowadays, it's got to be A, free or at least free to play from the start, and then B, run on a potato. I think that's the formula. So, yeah. And then we've got Titanfall 2. The developer said the game can't be ported to Switch because it's so underpowered. Now, this has made me sort of turn away from the Switch. Like, it's so many years after the PS4 and the Xbox One were released. You would think that they would have a console that is more powerful than its two competitors. I mean, just 3 or 4 years later, you'd think that they would do that, right?
Well, Nintendo's never been about making the most powerful console. Nintendo's whole thing has always been about how you play.
The 64 was that, though. The 64 originally was that sort of... It was the duck's nuts. It was the best thing out there. The 64, I know that.
Yeah, I think but in this recent age, at least with their last 3 since the Wii came out, they haven't been powerful by comparison. So
and I know, but people saying it's going to have Zelda, and it's going to have Zelda. Zelda's going to be great, but it's got to have more than just Zelda. I mean, shits and giggles aside here, if I buy one of these things, and I love Nintendo, I've always loved their different sort of games and platform they bring to the table. I thought the Wii U was actually a lot of fun to play with casual friends that weren't gamers. Because I guess all us enthusiasts, we've got those friends that when you talk to them about PC hardware, they kind of just scratch their head and be like, okay, can we change the topic? They're the kinds of people that play the Wii U, and you can have fun with them gaming. So I hope Nintendo brings that experience to the table. But at the same time, if you buy a Switch, I kind of want to play some of those titles that PS4 would have, because I don't want to go out and buy an Xbox One. I don't want to go out and buy a PS4. And my brother went and sold my PS4. Actually like a month ago, so I'm consoleless now. So if I was thinking about buying a Switch, I'd want it to kind of do everything in general, and it looks like it can't. So the developer said, and then Borderlands 3, it won't be able to play on the Switch as well. So Zelda can only carry this thing so far. People are going to say, okay, well, I want to get my Switch, I want to play Zelda, but I also wouldn't mind playing this title, that title. Oh, it's not on the Nintendo Switch, and it's never coming on the Nintendo Switch. What the fuck? And so
It's the look of Zelda though. It is that kind of cartoonish type look that's not going to be very intense in terms of load. But
okay,
I think this Nintendo Switch launch in general has like just everything to do with it. It hasn't gone tremendously well. I saw someone in chat before said Nintendo will be charging you for playing online too. I did hear about that, but yeah, I just don't think this is going tremendously well. But we'll have to see. Nintendo, it's always been about the games rather than the console itself. The games and how you play being quite sort of interactive. That's why the Wii won when it came out and that generation of consoles, because it was just the most fun. Families could play it. It was more revolutionary than the others at the time, and it just seems like Nintendo since then have kind of forgotten that you can get away with having an underpowered console as long as you make it that sort of fun thing like what you were describing.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I think gamers want it all nowadays. I think that's the new thing that they're not realizing that. I mean, back with the Wii U, it was okay. Internet wasn't as big as it is today. Nowadays, everyone's informed. Yeah. Everyone wants everything for nothing, and you got to go with that. You've got to provide a console that can do it all, and unfortunately, it looks like it can't. Yeah. So, do we want to move on to the next topic? Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, guys. Tops the charts for December 2016. Most sold PC game, Xbox One, whatever. Most sold title in general in gaming, and it topped the chart for 2016. Now I copped a lot. Oh
boy, the chat's gonna love this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I copped a lot of shit. I copped a lot of crap for doing the Infinite Warfare PC. People were like, "Dude, you're an idiot. Why are you doing Infinite Warfare?" In hindsight, it was probably was the best PC I could have done. I think it got the most views of any recent PC video that I've done. So next year, you guys are going to get another COD PC. Because the game was so cheap. I was like, wow, it's actually like 30 Australian dollars or something for a AAA title. That's not too bad. I mean, you see some of the titles here. Man. They're like $80 or $100 for a AAA title in Australia. I mean, I thought $30 is kind of like a no-brainer. And top selling title 2016. There you go, COD. Go, guys, it's time to get good. It's just, people love the stuttering. I guess people like stuttering. They like a engine that is so old it's not funny. But hey, $30. It's not too bad. Not too bad. 30 Australian dollars. I'll give them that. That's not too bad. If they're going to keep releasing the titles that cheap, I'll keep buying them. That's really cheap. So, and helps me get some views on a video. Damn, look at that. I was like surprised. The Infinite Warfare PC video did so well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Take that, chat. Anyway, so I'm actually pretty surprised that it did actually do number one, because I thought Battlefield 1 was a better game. I thought it was.
I think that one should really be first, but whatever. It is what it is. Battlefield 1 was cool. I really I'm actually really enjoying the multiplayer this time around. It's not as frustrating as Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3 was. I mean, for me, I'm actually really enjoying the multiplayer in Battlefield 1. It's good to see. I mean, I'm surprised Overwatch didn't get higher than it did. That's really surprising. So many people play Overwatch. Like, so many people. I'm surprised World of Warcraft didn't even get on that chart either. That's really, for me, that the two titles that I thought would have been on there would have been World of Warcraft and Overwatch, higher in the ladder at least. I was really surprised that some of these titles knocked it off. But again, we're counting in PS4 and Xbox One as well. So the fact that Overwatch, which is a PC predominant title, made it into the top 10 just being a pretty much PC only kind of thing. Well, I don't even know. Is it only PC? I
haven't even checked. I think it's on PS4 and Xbox One too. Yeah, so I know World of Warcraft is, so that's why that probably didn't make the list. But yeah, interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, someone said in chat as well, Rocket League keeps getting more and more players. Have you ever played Rocket League? It's actually quite a fun little game.
I've seen it. I've seen it that much on gameplay commentaries. I kind of just prefer watching it. So interesting.
Yeah.
It's one of those games I just like to watch. Call me weird, but you know.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of
pretty. It's good for a casual game. It's good
Yeah.
for something to just play a few matches in and then sort of go do something else after. But yeah, it is quite enjoyable. A lot of people are getting into it now.
Yeah. So there we go. CoD Infinite Warfare is your savior. It's your king, guys.
Yeah.
So we're just going to move over to Q&A now. So get your comments and questions ready, and Kev and I will answer them for you. So we got a Neo Voodoo Tech. They ask, can the console people play against PC players? I don't know which game for specifically, but
most of the time, yes, that happens.
Yeah, I still don't think a lot of games support cross-platform play. I believe I was waiting for COD to introduce that. I think that would be a huge sale, factor. Man, today, just excuse me, guys. My English is just that bad. I don't know what happened, but we got. I was waiting for COD to introduce cross-platform play. I think that would be a really good thing for the whole series. And I also got asked from the Hobbit, what's your stance on downloading your Tech Lounge videos? Yeah, I mean, you guys can download them. Just keep in mind that we're doing this content. Just support me and Kev any way you can. I mean, there's free ways to support the channel. Obviously, don't turn on ad block and whatnot. So you do those things, man. Just help us out. Yeah, do what you like.
That's what I tell a lot of people. That's a good way to help them out. If you just want to help out more, it's usually if there's a website or something you want them on, you can just embed the video.
Yeah.
And that's usually a good way to do it also.
Yeah. So what's the best? I think this one's for you, dude. What's the best New Zealand game? F sheep. Oh man, the sheep.
What's the best Australian game? Going to prison. Someone said, Kevin, do not do GTX 1060 versus RX 480 because Fanboy Flame is too much. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a rematch. I'm just trying to get my hands on the right RX 480 to do it, but last time, that's the only time I've ever actually unlisted a video, was not on my actual showdown, but on a follow-up video I did talking about it. Okay. And just the people, man, the community was just ridiculous, because I had to say at the time, the 1060 in New Zealand anyways was the better card. It got more frames and it was the same price.
Yeah, but
there's no way I could get around saying that the RX 480 was better. Now, that is why I'm doing the rematch, because so much has changed in terms of drivers and pricing that it's only fair I redo it, but I'll go into it with the same mindset. I look at the price, look at the features, look at the performance, temps, noise, all the stuff I cover, every single base, and then I add it all together and just see which one comes out on top. I don't go in with a bias, and that is who's going to win. But whoever I say wins, the other side complains that I've done it biased in some way.
Well, the thing is, that's why you've got to tailor it to your most viewed. See, I always do now videos for Australia, not just Australia, but also the States. The States always comes first. So if you're not tailoring your content to the US first and then New Zealand second, then people are going to complain. Because, the RX 470, I'd say, is the best buy in the States at the moment for a graphics card. In Australia, it's looking a little bit different, surprisingly. It looks like the GTX 1060, you can get it for around 279 AUD, or 269 Australian dollars. Now, that's sort of looking like the best buy at the moment in Australia. But I'd have to say, if I did a video on the two, I'd say, look, the RX 470 is the better buy in the States, and then the GTX 1060 is the better buy in Australia, or something like that. So if you're not doing that, maybe you should do it. You have to kind of give different opinions for people in different countries, otherwise people will get pissed off. They'll be like, well, what's going on? It's completely different where I am. The UK, I mean, what is it with the UK, man? I feel sorry for you guys. Pricing is all over the map over there. And, the UK is my second most viewed country. And I just look at the pricing and I scratch my head. I'm like, shit, I feel sorry for you guys. What is going on with pricing over in the UK? It's so bad. They're getting pretty much like pound for dollar, like 1-to-1 equivalent of price. Even sometimes the prices are cheaper in the States if you were to actually have that in a pound 1-for-1 equivalent. And it's like, damn. So we got to ask, have I checked out CEX for any, what's CX, what does that stand for? Consumer Exchange? What? For any used parts? Not that there's one closer to home. I check out Gumtree, like a lot, but I haven't checked it out lately because, I've just got such a big backlog to get through. Used parts, I was thinking about doing like a monthly series where I go just parts hunting and try and pick up bargains. People love the vlogs. I want to bring that back to the channel in a more sort of scheduled format so people can look forward to it. I definitely want to take care of all the people who love the used price performance. That's something that's not going to go away from the channel, don't worry. Brexit. Oh, okay, that's what they're talking about. The Brexit's affecting the pricing, but even before the Brexit, the prices were all up in the air.
If anything, if they sign a free trade agreement with the US or something, the British, then that will bring. Then it should be cheaper in theory, anyway.
Josh says, "Do you follow Random Gaming in HD's videos?" No, I don't. I've got my reasons, but again, I don't say anything negative, so I'm not going to talk about it. So that's just me. So, yeah, I just, I'm not going to say anything. So I don't follow his videos, no. And there's my reasons, but I'm not going to say them publicly. So, yeah. I mean, what about you, Kev?
Nah, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay, so fanboys are nuts about being frugal with my hard-earned money and get what will work, not what I can brag about not needing. Okay. We need. What mechanical keyboard would you suggest with RGB, wrist rest, and around 100 USD?
Oh, it's probably something from Corsair, I guess, if it's going to be that. Maybe, someone saying K65 Lux. I don't know, because I don't know US pricing, but I suppose if you're wanting the wrist rest as well, I mean, my immediate thought goes to a K70, but that would be out of that price range, I would imagine, anyways.
Depends on your money. It all depends on the price. I mean, there's some, like, I was doing the recent Tech Deals video. There was a really cheap Aula keyboard. I think that's how you pronounce it, Aula. I mean, that's blue switches. It's like $30. It's so cheap. So you can get into the mechanical gaming keyboard market really cheap. RGB, though, personally, the one that I like was the ASIO RGB. Came with a decent wrist rest. Of course, I just recommend, if you guys getting a keyboard, this is why I didn't critique the Real Force about not having a wrist rest, because I would have used my own wrist rest anyway. This thing is so good. It costs like $10. It's like a latex memory foam wrist rest, and I recommend, like, I've used this with any keyboard that I've got since I've been reviewing keyboards. They're so damn good for your wrists. You'll just go buy one. They're like $10. I'll try and leave a link in the description below, but you can get them off eBay or Amazon or whatever, and they're just so good. Like, I've even left the plastic on because I move it around that much. So really cool item. I use it with the Real Force. I've used it with all my keyboards beforehand since I got it, and I don't need a wrist rest anymore. That's what I'd recommend for. I wouldn't buy the keyboard based off the wrist rest, but for terms of an RGB keyboard, for value for money wise, I'd pick the ASIO mechanical. It's with the blue switches. It's so damn good. Like, for $80 or whatever, I love that keyboard. It looked good. It felt good to type on. I actually got it over there for my mom's computer. So
yeah, there's a lot now. There's a lot of cheaper RGB keyboards. If you're dead set on having RGB, then go with that. If it's not, if you don't really mind of having RGB, or you just want bicolor LEDs and stuff like that, then check out a Ducky keyboard, because that's what I've been preaching for years, and they're just very, very, very good value for money. Great build quality. So something like an older Shine series, or even just a Shine 4 or Shine 5 I think would do you very well.
Robert McKay actually asked a good question. Will we get low lag 4K TVs? I play my PC on a TV. I think you will with the introduction of the PS4 Pro, being that it's the whole 4K, even though it's not true 4K a lot of the times. There will be a TV manufacturer that will switch on and say, well, people are going to use this for competitive plays on their PS4 Pro, we need to get low input lag on these things. So yeah, it will come. I don't know of any real TV that's targeted with like a direct game mode like the BenQ has on that very popular monitor that they have, the 1080p one. I think it's the 27HM or something. That's for that. So Kev, respect, you look into the camera when you speak. Hey guys, hey, come on, I guess that's a stab at me. I'm managing the stream. I got to manage the stream and read the questions, and I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, give me a break. Come on, man. Come on, man.
It's just something I've always learned to do when you're doing these sort of things over the years.
I've got to manage the stream. Give me a break, bruh. I mean, but I'm sorry. I'll try and look into the camera more. That's what he wanted to. It's an indirect way of saying, Brian, look into the camera when you speak. Okay, Mr. Mob. Okay, Mr. Mob. Okay. So anyway, I might have to move my webcam from there to there because I'm looking into this stream thing for the Q&A a lot. So
yeah. I get what that means. All right, guys. Well, if you have any more any last questions for us, we'll do them. And then what have you got planned for this week, Brian? Anything you don't want to? You got a few things that are secret. Anything you want to let a little bit of tease out about?
Okay, we've got the benchmark rig. That's finally going to get set up. That's going to get set up this week sometime. We got high FPS gaming rig. So there's like literally there's going to be so many PC builds coming out in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be like, Brian, why is there so many builds? You're just going to see builds and more builds. Junicron's getting resurrected. I know you guys are going to be excited for that. It's just so many builds. It's just insane. You're going to be like, what the hell is this channel? The Build Yes City. You know, like that's what it's going to be. There's just PC builds coming. It's going to be really cool. The next few weeks I'm excited. Really excited. Just got over this sickness properly. Like I finally feel in the last few days a bit better as well. So really getting back into it. No aircon as well. I'm just I will get like there's a new place I'll be moving into the next few weeks. I mean not next few weeks, next few months, and that will have aircon. But the problem is by the time I move in there the weather would have cooled down anyway. So yeah. They want me to say HDMI. Oh yeah.
HDMI.
H, bro. H. Get over it.
HDMI.
Yeah. H.
You say it like how the British people say it.
Ah, come on, man. I love my fellow Brits. I'm from Britain originally.
Yeah.
It's my ancestry, bro.
I saw a comment before. I'll just try
Triple H. Yeah. HDMI. Go get yourselves a HDMI cable. So yeah, anyway guys, thanks for tuning into the stream this week. It was really cool. Sorry it was late. Kev he was busy in the morning, so we just delayed it a couple of hours because I just want to keep this going for you guys every week. It's really cool that you tune in. I love doing this show with Kev. He's really cool.
Yep.
Hope you guys enjoyed the topics. If you have any topics that you want to talk about desperately, even if it's sort of off topic that you want to talk about, jump on Twitter, send us a message, and we can try and fit it into the show, definitely towards the end of the show. And take care of you guys. So be sure to also hit up Kev's channel. I'll put the link in the description below. And that's about it, guys. Thanks for tuning in so much. And we will catch you in the next week. Kev, do you have any closing out statements?
This has been really good. And yeah, guys, send us the articles that you'd like us to cover, or you would like our opinions on over on Twitter or another site like that. It would be really good for us because we try to make this show very interactive, and that makes it a lot more fun. If there's specific things you would like us to talk about, then over the weekend you can send them to us, and we'll check them out when we do the show. So that's a good thing going forward.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in, and peace out for now. Bye.